Hi, we're live. So, hi guys. Had a bit of technical ish, but I think I got it sorted out already. Para para pa 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 pa. View on YouTube. Okay. Hi guys. So I had a bit of technical issue. Um, we are live. Live. Hi everyone. Hi. How we doing? We're supposed to be going live. How's everyone doing? We're having a bit of technical ish, so I'm bringing my guests up in a bit. So hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hi everyone. Okay, Remy, we're live. This is not private.
Good thing.
So,
Is there a new link for YouTube, or are they going to use the same link?
no, I'm gonna send that to you. Yeah, okay. I think you should have that right about now.
Okay.
Okay. Hi everyone. We're just trying to sort out a little bit of technical ish. Just give us a few minutes, and we're just gonna be right there. Um, it just happened. You know how those technical things just happen.
I know, right? Ugh.
I know. So we're waiting for Dakwa right about now. Okay, I think Dakwa is here.
All right. I don't see the link for YouTube because I have a couple of people on Facebook that are wanting to join in.
Dakwa, we're live. This is not private. We're live. We're live. No messing around. We're live. Okay, so okay, so people can drop comments in the same comment section. Okay, let me send to you guys privately. We're live. Hey, extra steps to you. Welcome. Okay, so
Yeah, the link is live now.
yeah, it's live. It's live. It's a public. It's public. Sorry guys, we're taking a bit of time. It was just some little technical thingy, so just give us a few minutes. We're just gonna fix that right about now. So okay, I dropped the link, so you can share the links on your social media handles for people to join you. So we're gonna kick start it. So welcome guys. Hi, my name is Abimbola. Thank you again, and thank you for joining me on Beams Just today. Today's episode is supposed to be I'm just trying new things. So this is live streaming. Super nervous, super excited. Yeah. So welcome. I have with me Remy Smith, and I have Dakwa Jai. Thank you so much for joining me out of your busy schedule. Thank you. Thank you. Dakwa, can you hear me? Oh, Dakwa.
Probably having a little bit of technical difficulties as well. I am.
Yeah, he's going to join us. Dakwa, are we still together? Oh boy. Hello.
It's funny how when we did the test run yesterday, everything was
It was
perfect.
good. It was good. I don't know.
Yeah.
On the
Okay,
day
Maybe because we didn't go live.
I know, right?
Like it was
Yeah.
good. Everything was fine yesterday. I don't know what just happened all of a sudden. Everything just went. I don't know, but no, it's gonna happen today. No. Okay, so
Yep.
everyone,
Man.
thank you for joining. Today we're gonna be talking about rape in African culture. Now, I brought about that topic because I've seen on social media. I mean, we've all seen on social media the buzz about rape here and there, things that have been happening and all that. But and I'm sure you also watched a video I made recently talking about it. But there wasn't enough time. So it occurred to me that how about we share our experiences as Africans growing up, and what are those growing up and concerns about the underlying factors that actually presents itself in terms of rape, and how this can possibly be avoided. So I'm going to be asking you questions, while we discuss, along the line and all that. So for starters, maybe we should first of all define rape. Maybe we should start by defining rape from the dictionary. Should we be doing dictionary, or should we just define, or should we explain what we know or what we think rape is?
I think we should go with a legal or psychological definition. So that will put into perspective, as opposed to just the English word rape, because that doesn't define the parameters, there.
I agree with you. But first of all, I think a lot of people need to understand what rape is. Maybe if we may not have the legal terms, right? But I mean, English can define a lot of things for us. So for starters, before we go into the legal part of it that we think we know, the dictionary explains that rape, unlawful sexual intercourse, or any other sexual penetration of the vagina, anus, or mouth, or another person with or without force by a sex organ, other body part, or foreign object without the consent of the victim. Remy, okay, yeah, then. So the thing is, I'm defining the English dictionary because I watched a video from a certain person last night, and the person talked about a girl raping a girl. We're going to get to that. So that's why I'm defining the English dictionary. But I have concerns. Let's start with the African background thingy. What was it like growing up and you hearing about sex for the first time? Personally, I did not learn sex from my house. First time I learned it was in biology. Biology class, secondary school, hearing sex for the very first time. That was me. Then afterwards, how you hear in school, sneaking around, this one is having sex with this one, and you're like, okay, all right. So, I mean, rape wasn't very common, wasn't. But to me, it wasn't. But again, there are other people that have been in situations that I am not aware of. That is why I am saying that it wasn't very common back then. So someone like me, I failed to get the message back then because I would probably say I was fortunate, thank God. But there are people who have experienced crazy situations and they just cannot get over it. So there are some of those things I feel that we missed out. So number one, I'm going to go first. I think that in every African home, there should be that lecture or that lesson that talks about sex. There should be that lesson that talks about, when someone approaches you or gives you a certain, talks to you in a certain way or makes a pass at you in a funny way, there should be ways where you can identify these things. You shouldn't assume that everyone who not just smiles at you, I mean, giving an instance, someone just smiles at you and you think that is right or is normal. No. There should be that line. You should know where to draw the line. You should know when and where things mean, where things are sexual and things are not, basically. So that's my first point. So who is going to go next? Remy, Dapo. Dapo, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, great. So do you want to maybe talk from a guy's perspective? Because we're two women, so we don't want to, squeeze you in this conversation. We want your voice to be heard. So please feel free.
I mean, I think I it's a very, very serious issue. You know,
Okay.
something, and it's on the front burner right now. You know, it's on the front burner because now everyone is talking about it, from government to civil society to private individuals, because of the, you know, quote unquote high profile cases that we've had recently. I think
Yeah.
it's something that has been with us, you know, from time immemorial. But as with all things, the internet and the mobile phones and everything we have today is what is bringing it to light, you know,
Mhm.
more and more.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that, again, as the voices, as the voices are coming up right now, I think it's something that is good. And
Yeah.
probably because things like you said, there are so many structural problems. It goes deeper than just the act itself. Fine, somebody else will do, but there are so many things, like you said, that enable it, from the family to the laws of the country, the laws to the culture. You know, so there are so many things that have to change. And I'm happy that all these conversations are happening right now. And it will hopefully lead to proper legislation. Because the truth of the matter is, no matter how bad you think something is,
Mhm.
except it is a crime punishable by law, there's nothing you
Yeah.
can do about it. You know,
True.
so if we live in a society that enables it because there are no laws, people will, I mean, even when there are laws, people find ways to
To
circumvent
break them.
laws just to
Yeah.
feed themselves.
Yeah.
So how when there are no
How much
laws?
more when there's
You know,
no
we
law?
can just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to stand at a moralistic point. This thing is wrong, this thing is wrong, but until there are laws put in place, people are actually punished. You know, so there are so many angles to it. You know, like you said, so much has to be done, and hopefully, like I said, these conversations will lead people to start thinking in the right way. Get
Yeah.
our lawmakers in the National Assembly to start raising the right laws. You know, amend the right. A lot of laws need to be amended, and a lot of laws need to be enacted afresh. So there are so many angles, and hopefully, all these conversations such as this will also, you know, help in bringing all these things up.
Yeah. But there are laws, but I feel like there's this thing where people say that laws were said to be broken. So who cares?
And
Really?
see that's where my thing comes in, because there are certain things that are legal that are not, you know, that are not really necessarily all the way right.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things that are legal that aren't right anyways, you know. So laws aside, I personally think that, especially with the experience I had as a child growing up in Nigeria, I personally think that parents, and I mean parents, not nannies, not uncles, not aunties, unless the parents of, you know, the said child or
Yeah.
children are no longer with us, then maybe those people can step in. But
Yeah.
parents should directly have these conversations and start to rub in the ideas of the possibilities of the things that are out there
Mm-hmm.
sexually, you know. Those
Yeah.
sexual things, they should let their children know these things are out there. You need to, you know, you need to watch out for it. Going back to the first time, you know, about hearing about sex, I personally heard about sex at a very young age. I was probably, I'm not sure if I was 6, 7. I heard about it at a very young age, and I heard about it from our eldest brother,
Mm-hmm.
and who also did not have the opportunity to hear it from someone, you know, giving from an
Yeah.
advice point of view. He heard
Yeah.
it from a fun or it's so bad point of view. So
Yeah.
we, his younger ones, heard it from him
At the so bad point of view as
from
well.
that point of view, you know. That's why it is the job of a parent, you know. Exactly, it is the
I
job of a
know.
parent to step in and say, hey, look, you know, look for, there's so many things out there, especially right now. There's so many things out there. There's so many educational materials for parents. You can learn like terms to use according to the age bracket that your child is in. Let them know,
Yeah.
hey, you know, like at school here, I know at my daughter's school, they're teaching them this song saying no square. It's like stop, don't touch that. This is my no square, you know. So they're
Yeah.
putting those things in their head. hey, this, don't let people do this to you. Don't let people do that to you. And also
Yeah.
defining rape. I think rape is any kind of physical, sexual, it doesn't have to be penetration. I think it's any kind of physical, sexual contact.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but growing up, if a guy was to hold your hand and like rub the middle of it, that was a sexual thing. And it'll make you feel uncomfortable. Or even a girl could do that to a guy, and it's like a sexual, and it makes you uncomfortable. But because you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the education, you're like, okay, this is just uncomfortable. I don't know why. I'm just gonna leave it alone. But those things breed, susceptibility to being, to accepting that rape culture. So I think, like I said, there's a whole bunch of angles. The legal point is one, and also I think like this. Hey, this doesn't get old. Charity begins at home. It doesn't get old. It was before our parents' time. It's still going on in our time. If it's not being spoken about at home, I'm sorry. Your child is going to go out there and learn it from a biology teacher, a friend.
Like me.
Exactly. And, you just, you don't prepare. And the shock, especially when things are not being introduced in little doses, when it's like boom in your face, the shock, and then it causes some kind of imbalance in you. And you're like, okay, what should I do? And I know even in Nigeria, when our biology teacher was teaching us about sex,
it was hard.
You should not allow you will
that's
get
my
pregnant
problem.
with like the anger and
I'm telling you, that's another thing. That's another point I want to dwell on. That thing where African parents just go, once you touch a boy, you're pregnant. Now, so you're like, don't touch me, don't this, don't that, and the boy eventually touches you, and you find out that okay, I'm not pregnant. So there is more to this thing.
What else?
Exactly. So you become curious. You want to know more. Then you find someone, a friend, telling you about, okay, you know how it is you know how it was in secondary school. Every secondary school had that bad boy, bad girl, where the person comes and the person tells you, oh, this boy asked me out. Okay, so this is what I was doing. So this is this. And in your mind, you're feeling like, I'm missing out. What's going on? Like, this thing, and the person is putting all the juice in it. Now, it's possible that nothing really happened. But of course, the person is trying to put a little bit of juice in the whole talk, like, oh, let him know that I'm bad. I don't know, we're just so dumb back then. As kids, you just think that being bad was just being bad was just a big deal. Being bad was just, it was just one of those things where you feel like I'm a big girl. Yeah, that's the thing. Yep. I'm a big girl. Like,
let's not forget. I know it's more rampant, right? Sorry to cut you off here, but let's not forget. Yes. I know it's more rampant, but let's be very careful, because I'm very certain that there are some guys out there that have been, sexually molested or raped or, by women or other men. That's still a very, and I think because it's not spoken about as much.
Yeah.
People don't take it as serious, and people focus more on the women that are out there getting abused. But the whole reason why women are being, spoken about right now is because somebody spoke out about it. So Let's keep that in mind with our verbiage. Remember that, it's not just women that are out here getting abused. Men are also going through, our young boys.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to get to that. Trust me. Okay. I'm definitely going to get to that. Definitely. I'm just starting from maybe like childhood. Let's try to remember the childhood, what it was like, growing up. First of all, we talked about we touching, the impression I got. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure it's like the same. You don't talk to a boy, you don't let a boy touch you, you don't this, you don't that. If you do this too much, this is probably what's going to happen. It's going to lead to this. Now, I understand that our parents were just scared. They try their best. Shout out to them, by the way. But I feel like some of these things should change. It should change. We should change the narrative, basically. Okay, another point I'm going to raise, we've talked about the touching and all that. Another point I want to raise is people usually say this, that it's because of what she was wearing. Please, can we talk about that? Oh, she was wearing this dress. The dress was very it was very short. It was very this. It was very that. And they go with, oh yeah, what was she doing there? Look, I watched a video recently. A man that raped I think 2-year-old or a couple of months. The image was terrible. I could barely look at it. Now, my question is, are we going to say it was what the girl was wearing, the child was wearing? Or what exactly are we going to talk about here?
That's the thing. We should understand that it is never, there is no crime, none whatsoever, that is ever the victim's fault. Even if you get robbed because you were being flashy, that is not your fault.
I know
it is not your fault that some psychopath decides to come steal your stuff. It's never the victim's fault, no matter what it is. I mean, unless you go and you go and stand on the edge of a cliff when it's very windy and you get blown up. Then now we can say, okay, yeah, you did that. But at this point, when there's another person involved, it is always the perpetrator's fault. It is always their fault. Never the victim's fault. And I hate when I see, especially in today's, the whole social media, I just see so much of how people are. I guess I was naive to how nice people are. I guess I was naive to, I thought everybody has this good in them and, there's no, but I'm telling you, man, you go on Instagram, on YouTube, and you see those comments and you're like, what? Why are you still alive? Just do the world a favor and just take one for the team. Just go, end it. Because I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, therefore you're smiling. From your point of view, are you going to say that, let's hear from a guy's point of view. Are you going to say that ladies are the ones that cause some of these things by what they wear? I mean, we can talk about ladies, how they dress and all that. Would you say, just from a guy's perspective, let's hear you.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that, so there's this Yoruba proverb that I like. Remy, I hope you can understand it. I hope you're right.
I can, don't worry.
What does
she mean that she cannot understand?
Understand.
No, I mean, so okay, so there's this Yoruba proverb that says, "Anakwenupo kabolewu eni bitoni konfin kwensi oda." I'll take it again.
Take it again.
So it says, I'll take it again.
Pause.
It says, yeah, I'm taking it again. So it says that Anika Kwenupo Kabole Esope Bitoni Confin Kwensi.
Okay.
Which literally means that you catch a thief, you catch a thief. And we are saying, it's saying that we are saying, let us criticize a thief, right? Yeah. And somebody else is saying, yeah, but where the person put his thing wasn't right. Why did you leave your laptop there? That's not the point. I mean, exactly what Remy is saying. Yeah, I could leave my $100 bill on the floor of my house.
Yeah.
That's not the point. That's not an excuse for you to come in and take it. So it is never an excuse that, is what she wore. I thought she was leading me on. We went out. I bought her drinks. I bought her stuff. It is never an excuse, and there's no, I feel like the men of this generation, we've failed in that regard, and we need to do better. Plain and simple. We need to do better. It's never an excuse. She came to my house. There's this, Okay Bakassi has a joke. He has a popular joke on YouTube, right? Which has garnered over 1 million views. Which he did a joke about rape, yeah. And in Nigeria, where a lady goes to report a rape case to the police, and the police are asking her questions, and she's answering the questions, and the police are making it seem as if she's indicting herself. Like, where did it happen? I was in his house. Okay, you were in his house. Okay, what happened? We came back, I had my bath, and then I was naked. Oh, you were naked. And then it goes on. Even from the people's reaction, it tells you how we are wired already, how everybody's laughing at the fact that, you kind of brought it up on yourself. But all these things are never an excuse. Never an excuse. It's not what she's wearing. I mean, people that say what she's wearing, you find out that, okay, a guy that grew up with his sisters at home, right? A guy that has 4 sisters.
Right.
And you know how ladies are when they are home. So
Of course.
the girls, your sister at home, know and all that. You don't rape your sister. You don't. You're around ladies all day, simply dressed. You don't rape them because they're your sisters. So how do you now go away from that and say it's because of what she was doing? Why didn't you rape your own sister?
I know, right?
So it's never an excuse. Never.
Yeah, that brings me to the next thing. The video I watched yesterday, it was a story about a guy who was this girl's best friend. It was true life, actually. The guy was her best friend. Then they went out drinking. She was kind of tipsy, you know. She was kind of tipsy. Then the guy, you know, so she got to his house. Then I think I don't remember, maybe she woke up or something, and the guy was all over her, was on top of her and all that. And when the conversation, oh yes, it was on Abimbola Craig's vlog. So then the girl woke up and said, she was like, what's going on and all that, what was wrong with you? Because he was all over, was basically on top of her. Now the girl, they left, you know, the following day she was like, so what just happened? What exactly did you just do? And the guy went, what are you talking about? You were really drunk and all that. She was like, I was tipsy. I mean, I had a lot to drink, but I knew what I was doing. Now, when the conversation went, I think, to their friends, or somehow it came up amongst their friends, and the friends were like, what was she doing in his house? How come she was drunk? And it was, even she, I'm like, I don't get it. Are you telling me you cannot have a friend you can trust? So because she gets drunk, you take advantage of her. That thing, you know, that bestie thing too, is very difficult these days. Again, that we're putting this on you as a guy. Do you think that should be a yardstick? Like, because she's drunk or she's all over you, she's this, she's that, so you take advantage of the situation. In a guy's mind, again, from a guy's perspective, what exactly runs through a guy's mind at that point in time? In all honesty, Dapo, please don't find quotes for us. Just hits the nail on the head. Let's know.
I mean, it's like I said, so earlier this week, actually, I think on Monday or Tuesday, I actually deleted Instagram off my phone. I deleted Twitter. I deleted Facebook. You know,
are you trying to run?
I'm telling you, I mean, because it's because the thing is, the world today, it's a sick generation. There's no, it is a sick. I have to understand. People in our generation can understand these things because we saw the advent of the internet, of the mobile phone, right? So we still have that understanding of how it was before all of this started.
Yeah.
But we live in a microwave generation where everything is instant. We live, you see posts, why did I did that? Because you see comments online like, what is actually going on? They are saying somebody is committing fraud. Somebody is committing fraud, and people are saying, leave him alone. What is it? What is this one? People will try anything.
I feel you.
And you know, it's a sick generation. So people will justify, this generation will justify anything.
Yeah.
So what is wrong with you? You know, things that
I feel like I was having a conversation with my mom the other day, and like, this generation, we're all crazy. That's all I can say. My mom's like, she does not get it. She at Koyemi. I'm like, this generation, we're all just crazy. We don't understand because I don't get it. I really don't get it.
You know, and that's what someone said. Nigeria is destroyed. Honey, the whole world is destroyed, man. Everywhere. It's everywhere. Trust me. Don't put it on Nigeria's head.
True.
But
True.
Look,
it's crazy.
I feel like this generation, the problem is not that this generation, it's just there's such a thing as too much freedom. Absolute freedom is chaos. It is chaos. And the world
but Remy, we didn't have freedom growing up. Do you remember? We didn't have freedom growing up.
We didn't, and that's the problem. The problem is there are a lot of people that do not. It's like new money. I've never seen money in my life before. Money hits. Everybody must know I have money now because you understand. It's the same thing. You're that fast. Oh, I got it so fast. I got it, and now I can spend it, and now I can show, and now I can flaunt. Like he said, microwave generation, and we're guilty of that too. Not just the generation, not just the millennials, which I think we skipped that by like a couple of years. But but the thing is, there's such a thing as too much freedom, and some of our generation that didn't have the freedom, they were exposed to it, and it's like, I don't know what to do with it. Oh my gosh, just boom. And there's such a thing as there's too much freedom going on in the world right now, and it scares me. It really scares me. Yes, these things have been happening for a while, of course. Now we have the access to cameras and stuff. All these things have been happening for a long time, but they happened. People were scared to do them so blatantly. People were scared to do things. So, like right now, I'm watching the news and I see there's my nephew posted this thing on Instagram where there was like a 33-year-old man who raped a 6, 7, and 8-year-old set of siblings, 3 boys.
What?
A 33-year-old man.
Yeah.
I think I missed that story.
This guy is close to our age.
What?
So it's like you would think somebody would know better, but it's just too much freedom, and then they see all these things, and it's just crazy. It's too much. There's too much freedom and not enough information to people that could potentially fall victim. It's just here.
Yeah. Another thing. While I was reading up stuff, while I was just thinking of this topic and all that, another thing that struck me, that was what I did in my last video, I talked about it, was pornographic videos. It's so free. Sex is so free. Now, while I was thinking about it, it occurred to me that I saw a few of the captions and something struck me, and I'm like, some of these people that rape actually feel like this is what they should be doing. When they see father touches daughter or stepdaughter this and that, I feel like
sickening.
Siblings doing this. And sometimes I feel like people just come around and they feel okay, comments. I'm going to read the comments soon. Sometimes I feel like people just come about the captions and they feel, the things that you watch basically. They go through your mind. Eventually, you want to act on it. Eventually, you want to get it out of. So sometimes pornographic videos or websites are also another way that these rape teens or rape victims come. When they feel like they have so much power over people. And I don't know, is that a way to? I wouldn't say eradicate, because that porn has come to stay. Pornography has come to stay. So there's nothing we can do about that one. But is there a way? I'm just thinking, like, is there a way one can just, cop the situation? And I don't know. What do you guys think?
It goes back to the same problem, that Dr. and I were saying, and you also mentioned it. It's this information is out there. There is no, hey, here's how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no solution there's no solution. It's just, hey, problem here in your face, throw. And at the end of the day, I'm a mother. I have 3 girls. The things that I did not learn, I don't try to expose them to too much. I do it according to their age. And for example, if a scene comes on where there's kissing, I would let my daughter watch it because my husband and I kiss in front of her, whatever. It depends on how the kissing is going. Now, I have so much trust, and at the end of the day, she's her own person. She might change. I hope she stays, innocent for the longest time. And I just feel like whenever I leave her, like there's been instances because of the way I've spoken to her, things I've said to her from, from her growing up, from the little words I've put in her ears here and there, she'll be watching something, right? In a different way. She'll ask me, Mommy, can I watch this? I've never watched it before. It's PG-13, but it doesn't have the S in it, sex. S for sex. It only has the V and the L. I promise I won't say the bad words, you know, whatever. I let her watch it. That's fine. She's 9, but she knows that this S stands for sex. She has mistakenly seen a sex scene before, and she was uncomfortable. And I said she was very uncomfortable, and I had a discussion with her. I said, "Hey, you know, this is something that people do when they're in love. It's, you know, it's not when you grow up and you fall in love with somebody, you know, and you find the right person at the right time. This is something that you can practice. But for right now, I don't want you to learn about it because it's going to block your learning ability from a lot of other things, you know." I didn't just say, "It's so bad, you're not," you know, blah, blah. Like, you know, I didn't attack her. I explained to her. I had a conversation with her. And now, if she's watching something that just says VL, PG-13, you know, violence, or PG-14, whatever, violence and language, and there's a sex scene in it, you know what she does? She's like, "Mommy, can you believe there was an S scene in it? I don't want to watch it anymore." She changes it. She is tuned. She knows. And this is her on her own. So those conversations need to happen. They need to happen. They need to happen from the home. And that's how we, you know, we control how our kids are exposed to these things. Our, you know, our younger ones, our siblings, whatever, our little cousins, we control how they're exposed to those things. But like I said, mainly in the hands of the parents, I'm telling you. And at the end of the day, before you and I had this conversation, at the end of the day, a child is going to watch porn. Even if you watch inside cupboard and lock the cupboard and say, that child will find a way.
It's not what you watch. I agree with you. But there was a very one of the things that encouraged me to go live with this is before I continue, thank you. I'm reading some comments. Thank you, John. Thank you, Christia, your extra step CEO. Thank you, Keme. Thank you for joining us as well. If you have if you want to contribute or you want to add something to what we're saying, please drop your comments and we're going to read them out. Yeah, someone says rape is demonic. Yeah, I agree with you. So one of the things that one of the reasons why we're going like having this conversation was after I posted my last video talking about some of the steps, underlying factors, you know, that can cause rape. 3 people reached out to me. One, she was raped when she was very small, and I'm like, you know, she sent the message and I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I'm really so sorry." And I'm like, she said it's fine, that I mean she's gone past and all that, but I felt really bad. I couldn't really ask, okay, this is this or this is that. I couldn't really, you know, say much. You know, the only thing I could say is I'm sorry. Then another story. This happened to a friend while they were in secondary school. Her uncle, her mother's brother, raped her. She didn't know what to do, so she called her friend, who was also a neighbor, whom I think they attend the same school or so. I don't really remember. Called the girl, and around that time, the school just taught them, oh, I think we just lost that one. It's probably going to come back. So the school just taught them menstruation and all that. So the girl innocently came in and saw the entire room. The room was a chaos. It was like, I mean, they had fought. There was blood all over. The sheets were dirty. Everything was just scattered. So the friend just, you know, innocently started cleaning the entire room, saying, "Oh, what's wrong with you? You should clean up after yourself." But she was in shock. She was really shaking up. She didn't know what to do. The friend cleaned her up, took her to the shower, and the friend said, "Oh, I met your uncle on the way that I even greeted him." And the girl answered that he just raped me. And the girl went, "But I greeted him and he answered me." You know, those are just children. So the friend didn't know what to do. So she told her own mother that, okay, this is what happened. Now, the neighbor's mother said, okay, bring her over. They brought her over, then called her mother that, okay, on your way back from work, please stop by. There is this, I just stopped by, she's my place and all that. The mother came. The girl told her mother right there and then that, hey, your daughter was raped, and she said it was your brother and all that. The mother beat her from that neighbor's house, beat her all the way to their own house, and said she was talking rubbish, that she has started joining bad gang. You know how you say, You have started doing bad things. You think that this is how people should do things. You have started beat the girl so much and all that. Anyway, at the end of the girl stopped going to school. She said there was no point, that life was meaningless. And as I heard at the end of the story, she became a sex worker or something. That was how she ended up.
Wow.
And it was just like, because if she told the friend, if her own mother did not believe her. So the uncle raped her, for many years. So it just felt like a normal thing that if her uncle can do it, then why is she doing it? Why is she doing it for free? Why can't she just make money out of
it? Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yes. So sometimes I feel like some parents, some mothers are also, they're just, they just feel like, no, it can't happen. Why can't it happen? Why can't you believe your own child for once? Like, why do some people
At least
feel that?
look into it. Don't just tell your child, oh, you're lying, and beat up your child and stuff like that. At least look into it.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because a lot of times people feel, Dapo, are you back? Do we have you back? I think he's trying to connect. So I think
Yes, I hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I was just telling Remy about a story about a mother that didn't believe the child. The mother's.
I hear you.
Okay, yeah. So her uncle raped her so much. At the end of the day, she just became a prostitute because she just felt life was meaningless. She stopped going to school. She didn't even join. She just felt life was meaningless. So she ended up being a sex worker, and she just felt, okay, since this is the way life is, whatever. Let me just be a sex worker. What's the point? Did you get? So I feel like sometimes even mothers don't listen to their kids. They don't. I don't know what they expect them to do, and it's a bit worrisome because someone says you've been raped and you start to beat the child. Are you trying to kill? Because the trauma, the shock. We're talking about mental state the other day. Like the mental state, a lot of things happen here that people overlook. People do not really take into consideration, and I think it's very bad. Which also brings us to flipping the scripts. A lot of people feel we talk about girls being raped and we don't talk about the guys. When I was in school, university, one of my many universities, name withheld. there was this thing where 5 girls will rape a guy. It sounded funny. It sounded very funny. But thinking about it again, why would 5 girls rape a guy? It's just thinking about it now. As at then, it was very funny because it was a case of those guys, they enjoyed it. It's not just 5 girls. But no, a lot of people don't get it. They don't understand that this is also a case of rape as well. So I don't know. It feels like it's not one-sided. It's not one. Dapo, did you hear me? Are you with us?
No, I just got caught. I mean, it keeps cutting me off, but I think I'm back in now.
Oh, okay. So I was talking about
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. We can hear you now. So I was talking about 5 girls raping a guy. This was as far back as 2006 or so. Yeah. 5 guys raping a guy, and I mean that is not something that is common today because everyone feels like he slept that let's just say that it's like he slept with 5 guys now. So you can't say we can only speak maybe from a girl's perspective to understand how a girl would feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you, as a guy, what do you think? Like how I don't know. If you have an idea of what it is like, can you talk about it a little bit? Are you there?
Okay, so just lay like a foundation. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so just to lay a foundation, to lay a foundation to answer your question, I'll talk about. So there's an organization in Nigeria called Women at Risk International Foundation.
Okay.
They've been doing some amazing work, and I was on their page earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and they did a boys. So they have I mean, it's basically focused on women. Yeah, cafe. You know, boys conversation. Let me read you something they wrote. It said in Nigeria today, 1 in 8 boys will have experienced violent sexual encounter before the age of 18. Hell. WARIF's recent pilot project surveyed 1,000 students in 10 schools, in secondary schools in Lagos, with 40% of the respondents based. Now, 52% of boys surveyed are of the opinion the types of films, pornographic, sexualized, are contributing factors to why boys rape. That addresses something you raised earlier on. And then 1 in 6 boys who have witnessed a girl being harassed believe she was harassed because she dressed provocatively. Now let me answer. Now to bring it to what the question, your present question.
Yeah.
It is true that guys get raped as well. According to this statistic, 1 in 8 boys. You know. So the thing is this: it's different. It's different for women as is for men. Now the thing is, because of again the culture of guy in a man up, all these kind of things. The truth is, everybody deals with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, right?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks back, or maybe earlier in the year, there was a thread on Twitter about a guy who was actually raped, you know, and this guy, and it was years ago, but this guy was just coming out to say it. And even under the comment section, just like you're saying, you have a lot of people coming out, guy, come on, I should have enjoyed this, guy, should have. But the thing is, these things mess people up. They mess people up. You know, so, and again, see, it's like personally, because of the things that I saw and witnessed growing up, I've said to myself that, you know, I'm not going to have housemates. You know, what house girl, house, because a lot of these things started, so you'll be surprised the amount of boys that had such exposure.
Yeah.
Ridiculous young ages. You know, because you just the house help is there, the house girl is there, and a lot of guys went through able things that they probably are even going to take to their graves. But then these things, this early exposures, I mean, like you said, I mean, somebody does something to you for a couple of years, nobody knows about it, and then she goes away. And then you're now trying to, this thing that was happening. So there are so many, the thing is, guys feel it as well, right? But I think it's hard for a woman to come out and talk. Think of how hard it is for a guy to come and say, I was raped. Because again, they are going to shush you like, guy, forget, guy, what are you saying? You know, because the thing is, even the society is conditioned. I mean, think about it. I walk into a police station now and say somebody raped me.
They will laugh.
The police will chase me out like, okay, come up for here. We have cases. We have more important cases.
I'm telling you.
The kind of things you hear. Yeah.
Even in a hospital,
Also,
I've heard of a case.
The way even the society is conditioned.
Yeah. I've heard of a case like that. The girl goes to the hospital and says, I think it was a movie. She said she was raped, and nurse was like, what were you doing there with the boy? How? And you know, these questions, I find them rather appalling because I'm like, what was she? I don't know. What is the correlation with what she was doing there? Okay, she was there. She went there. She's So does that, knowing what she went to, okay, what about the recent case? The girl that was reading in church, and she was raped. In church. Do you know I went through the comment section and I was irritated by the comments. Some said, she said, why was she reading at night? Another one said, what was she doing? Why was she going to church at night? Why was she going to church at night? Are you serious? Do you understand? And somebody else goes, even that she went to church, she should know that it was at night now. Can't she just stay in her house? Or was she looking for open? I don't get it. I don't get how people think. And you know that people actually feel like it's normal when you say things like, yeah, she shouldn't have gone, she should have just stayed back, she shouldn't have. Why do we blame the victim? I really don't get it. I really don't. And it's just crazy. And we all need to change our I don't know. We need to be like our mentality. Everyone needs to start thinking straight, even if it's hard. You need to start understanding certain things. I was saying in my last video that if rape was by what people wear, then I think in the Western world, when you go to places like Miami Beach, Hawaii, all the women sunbathing,
Florida should have been.
all Florida, they should all be rich. You understand? So it's just crazy. It's just crazy the way things are going. I watched a movie, the movie I was telling you guys about, the what's it called? Addicted. So the story, this girl married her high school sweetheart. They had 2 kids, a lovely couple, normal life. Husband had a job, she had her own business, things were fine and all that. But every night she had sex with the husband, she was never satisfied. But the husband never knew. He would just fall asleep and just be like, oh, babe. He didn't know. So eventually she started, having sleepless nights and all that, exploring options, and all. At some point she decided to see a shrink, and she was telling the shrink about how she's never satisfied, and she was like, why don't you talk to your husband? And she's like, she doesn't know. She tried to, but the husband just didn't really pay attention, let me put it that way. So eventually she went out to the bar. So every other night she was sleeping with different men. Eventually she started sleeping with 2 in particular. At the long run, they both fell in love with her. Then the shrink told her that she needed to come clean with her husband. Eventually she had another phone she was using to talk to her concubines and the guys and all that. The husband found it. All 3 guys met in a house. I'm telling you. Then at the end of the day, she had to go to something like the AA meeting where she sat down. Then she told her story. 3 guys actually raped her. She said, so ever since then, it's been a case of she doesn't know. So it's more like a psychological thing for her and all that. So some people have those stories where they talk about things that have actually happened to them, traumas they've gone through, and some of those things are still haunting them. But it's hard for people to talk about it. But one person that I'm not one of those people that come and talk about celebrities and all that, but one person I would respect is Timi Dakolo's wife. Why? She came out to speak about her case. I really don't care what happened. I don't know how that story went down. I don't know if but my point is this: if it did not happen, she would not want to throw away her entire life over some mere publicity. What does she need it for? Her husband is famous, which makes her famous. They're doing fine. They're probably rich, but at least they live a comfortable life. She has kids. She's married already. So why would she come to throw that all away? Again, comment section. Why is she just coming out now? Is it now that she's just going to come out? Is it now that she's just... Do you understand? It takes a lot of process.
For people it takes a while. It takes a while. Because they have to process it, and it might be 2 days, it might be 2 hours, it might be 20 years. They have to process it. You just don't know. Everybody deals with things differently. Like Dr. said, people deal with their PTSD is one of the widest range of time frame. There are people that can cover it, and there are people that can't. And then there's some people you think they've gotten over it, but they really haven't. But because, society has put so much pressure on them, they pretend like they've gotten over it. And then they have this dark, things going on. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's just crazy because the comments I read from people were like, so why did she decide to come out now?
I'm just jumping. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, are we together? Dakwa, can you hear?
I was just going to jump in and say again, it's harder. I think it's much harder for victims to deal with stuff. I hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. There's a little bit of lag in your delivery. Dakwa.
Can you hear me?
So just keep going.
Okay, I was saying, it's a lot harder for people to deal with stuff when you have your trigger right in front of you, right? Like if if you were raped, for instance, as a kid, and you never saw the guy again, you moved on with your life, you're married. I mean, you're moving on, right? But it's different when you have to deal with your the person that assaulted you every day or every week, everywhere you go. I mean, just talking about the one people is referring to, the Temi Dakolo's wife's issue, for instance. I mean, yeah, she's married, but then every Sunday, probably she turns on her TV, she sees the same guy on TV preaching. She's going on the road, she sees a billboard with this guy's face on it. I mean, so it's in her face everywhere she goes. So it's like a constant hunt. And then you feel like, you know what, I can't take this anymore. And the same thing, you look at even all the recent cases that have happened, even with our celebrities, you see that people only spoke up when they felt like, you know what, why is this guy even has the audacity to speak? If you look at the Peruzzi home, there was a lady that, the lady was like, what? Even Peruzzi was like, no, say no to rape. Like, you, after what you did to me, you had the effrontery. Even the band own as well. It was because the band did a post, and they was like, you, after what you did. So it's like a trigger. So if someone does something to you, and then the person is still even gloating in your face, like, don't do this. I'm like, well, you did it to me. So it's a trigger. So when people say, why are you just coming out? You can't tell anybody why you're just coming out, because the person got away with it, and you're still flaunting it in their face.
I know, right?
So it's complicated, especially when the person is there and the public doing well, seemingly, and like, wow, so he's moved on, and then you feel like, you know what, no, I can't take it anymore. So that is why people, there's usually a trigger after bottling it for so long, and then this person is now seemingly a saint, and then now trying to posture something else, and they're like, yeah, no, I'm going to speak up. And that's what I feel is happening.
Yeah, and I agree. And to be honest with you, her husband was just the real MVP for me, like a man that just stands with it. It has happened. Coming out to say
it's nothing like a support system.
What did you say, Remy? I didn't get that.
There's nothing like a good support system when you've been through those kind of certain things in life. There's nothing like a good support system.
I'm telling you.
That's why I always say, victim side, accused side, because nobody is really, law. Nobody is really, guilty until
proven guilty,
right?
Yeah,
that's what they say. So whichever side you're on, very careful not to encourage certain things. You have, like it's one thing to have a husband and supportive and all of that, but let me tell you, man, Temi Dakolo, the way he did it, he spoke about it not so many times. He let his wife talk about it. That is her experience. That is the person's experience. That is what they went through. In their head, reality, that is their experience. Allow them to have that voice. And it's the same thing with children, allow your children to have that voice. Because you don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's this thing my I love all my cousins, and I know I have so much faith in all of my cousins that I believe nothing like this will ever happen. But there's this thing my brother, my immediate older brother, not my eldest, my older brother, I mean, there's this thing we always say: if it's not his house, my house, or our sister Lily's house, my children are not going to anybody's house to go and spend nights. No, I don't know you, fam. No, we're not doing that, because just hearing stories, you just don't know. You just don't know. But you have to allow you as an outsider can protect the person from getting assaulted, and you as an outsider can also give the person their voice. You understand? So it's never just on that person, but still allow them, support them, give them their voice, and guide them. Because the way, honestly, she was broken. Temi Dakolo's wife was broken. From that interview,
it was obvious.
Really broken. But you know what I liked about it? With everything that she went through, she was not vindictive in any of her delivery.
No.
She was not vindictive. She held her composure. She was, and these are things we have to help. And like, we have people deal with things differently. People deliver things differently. But at the end of the day, we have victims that have so much confidence that they don't feel the need to be vindictive. They don't feel the need to be just I am attacking.
Yeah.
Very important to give them a voice, and also to protect people from from a young, like her mom didn't protect that woman, and it's not her mom's fault, but I think she didn't protect her daughter.
Yeah,
and then
I
this
agree
whole
with
idea
you.
of, oh, man of God, because he's in the church. Wait,
that man of God, that man of God, we're going to get to that section. That man of God, we will get there. I'm telling you.
Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Are you really a prophet? Are you really anointed?
I'm
Just
telling
because you're
you.
in there reading the Bible and interpreting it. Are you really? Really?
I'm telling you. Speaking of cousins,
so I'm not going to go into that, but yeah.
I agree. We're gonna get there. Speaking of cousins, shout out to you, Falabi. Thanks for joining. Thank you. I love you, brother. Someone said Dalakwa said rape has many definitions, and going by those definitions, 90% of men will be held responsible for rape. Okay. Tima says till today a lot of people still don't believe Timi Dakolo's like his wife's story. Okay. Stephanie says Remi's statistics show that immediate family members are more likely to abuse children. Facts. Stephanie, thank you. I'm telling you, facts of life. I was saying in my last video that my mom used to do something that I still appreciate till tomorrow. When somebody comes to the house and the person says, you know how the African parents are, won't you greet me, my daughter? You, this one, that one. My mother is not going to say anything. The moment you step out of the door, you're like, bye. Hello. She's going to call you. That person, this is how that person is related to you. She will break it down. This person, this is how you are related. This one that just left, you are not related. So forget story. You understand? So you know in your heart of hearts that I am not related to this person, but this is how I'm supposed to relate or talk to this person. So you know. So she creates that vibe. She lets you know who is who.
Yeah.
So even in the case of brother, I grew up with cousins as well. But there was a line. There was always that line where maybe you talk about you're going to. She wasn't a fan of sleepovers. To be honest with you, she was not a fan of sleepovers, and till today, that's why sometimes I find it very difficult to sleep over at a friend's place. Because I'm
still the same way.
Exactly, because I got so used to it. I'm telling you, because it wasn't about anything, but she came from the angle of be contented with whatever you have. Kilo wakiri, kilo do I need to kiri? For those that don't understand, what are you looking for? Why can't you stay in your house? That's what I meant. So a lot of times when people talk about cousins, uncles, and all that, sometimes I'm just like, how does it? I don't understand. But it turns out that a lot of people actually do go through this thing. Uncles, father, stepfather.
And let me tell you, going back to that fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Immediate family members, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I strongly believe, 100%. I'm not going to share the story right now. At a proper time, I will share that story when, I wrap my head around it. But I strongly believe that if you grow up with someone, right? A lot of people say, oh, I never knew he would do such a thing. And no, that person, no, he's such a good person. Deep down inside of you, you see traits and you know. So don't say, I'm not saying the victim.
Okay.
Like I'm saying now, I know some of my friends, right? But I don't know them that well. We did not grow up in the same house. We did not grow up, in the same environment the whole time. I just know them, right? Yeah. That's fine. But there's some, and I know them to a certain degree. Like I know if, like they say, mothers know. If your child goes and does something, you will know that, okay, this child. There were signs.
Yeah, but the problem is that doing the something, they feel like you've done the something with an outsider, not with maybe your uncle, like her own brother. She finds it so hard to believe that she doesn't even believe a word coming out of your mouth. So it's very exactly.
But the thing is, if you know that your brother has those tendencies, right?
She may not know.
If I know that my brother has those tendencies, but that's the whole problem. There's no how that you see I guess maybe just because I've been exposed to a certain level
Mm-hmm.
of this particular topic, there's no how you see a person, you've been in the same environment as that person for such a very long time. And you're telling me that you did, like Tyler Perry's story. I don't know if you guys have seen his story of how, you know, he was molested as a child, he was abused, you know, things like that. And he said the people around knew. You could tell that they knew, especially when a person is trying so hard to protect someone that has committed an offense. Then they don't care about that victim. They know that this person is wrong, because why are you trying? Otherwise, why are you trying so hard to protect your friend? And you know, the case of her mom and her mom's brother, the lady you were talking about in time. Yeah. She didn't want that shame of my brother, you know, whatever, my brother. Look at this show, for instance, which I think has a very great, you know, depiction of reality. It's called Greenleaf.
Greenleaf. I don't think I've seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
It's called Greenleaf. It's about, you know, ministry family, Christian ministry family, or whatever. Anyways, the wife of the main pastor, right, was abused by her uncle over and over, sexually molested, raped, you know, over and over again, over and over again. It turned out her sister knew, didn't say anything. Her sister knew, didn't say anything out of fear of, you know, hey, we're, you know, this is a Christian family. If this comes out, she kept her mouth shut. Turns out the brother was doing this. That's the pastor's wife. Her own brother was also doing the same thing. And because his sister has been mentally suppressed, she didn't say it. He ended up raping his sister's daughter, who ended up committing suicide.
What?
Yes. So people know these things and they hide. There's no way you can tell. There's no way someone I trust and love, someone comes and tells me, hey, this person did this, and I'm gonna say, oh, immediately my defense is I'm protecting them. And I go through extra lengths to, especially if I love two people, God forbid, say my brother and my daughter, right?
Yeah.
Something happens there and my daughter comes and tells me a story. I'm not going to, unless I know my brother has some secrets, then I will try to, you know, that will embarrass me myself. You know, I'm not saying that's what I'll do, but I'm saying, you know, then I'll try to hide it and cover it and be like, you know, no, don't say this, don't say that. And this is where, you know, this is where those things come from.
Yeah.
There's things people do, and you know, some of those things don't just come out of the blues. Like, come on. Especially if someone has been raped and molested over and over again. When you didn't see signs, you didn't notice anything, nobody said anything to your ears. You're living in the same house with the same person for 40 years, 50 years. Like, come on. I'm not gonna protect. I'm not gonna do that. If I know you just know. Like, if someone comes and tells me, there's certain people in my family. If someone comes and tells me, oh, this one has 20 girlfriends, I will say, yes, it's true. I don't worry. But everybody's looking at him. He's so good. He's so, you know, he doesn't. Don't worry.
Because
I have. So you know those things. So if you know a person that well, then there's no way you don't know that there's something off. You might not know exactly, but you know there's something off with this person.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
For instance, your uncle keeps coming to the house and keeps looking at the doctor and saying, you are growing. Look at your bum bum. You that you didn't have bum bum before. And you see your small yash done the big go.
God will punish all those uncles. Yes, you see those uncles that used to come and talk all that rubbish. God will punish them. I'm out for those uncles that used to come and talk rubbish. It's true. Why will you be looking at your niece and be saying that these are they used to say it. Don't worry, I will translate for those of you that don't understand Yoruba. See, let me tell you, the thunder that will fire you. We'll get back to that thunder. It's just okay. So someone dropped a comment. people protect abusers. Yeah, I agree with you, Stephanie. This is Sandra. Sandra says it is painful when family members don't help one another, especially when I hear you hide under the impression of Christianity. Most times, the best way to help that person is to make them seek help. I agree with you. You say this Christianity matter. I'm a Christian. I mean, born from a Christian home and all that. But you see, over the years, we lost that for a bit. Over the years, I feel like Christianity has taken a different turn that everyone feels. I heard a story one time. Someone that, in fact, someone that went for deliverance.
My wife, that comment, Stephanie, absolutely. Like they'll see a small child, my wife.
Okay. That's what she meant.
Those ones.
No, Stephanie, I'm coming to attack those my wife people. I'm sending thunder to those people, so I'm going to get back to that one. You see these family members. I heard 2 stories. This lady went to a pastor while they were praying for her. The pastor slept. Prayer session was going on, and Jesus' name, and she was answering. Jesus' name. Slipped his hand on her breast. I'm like, when I heard, I mean, name will tell. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm just here to preach what I know. Let's just do the right things. That's all. I was shocked. I'm like, the person couldn't have made this up, because it's not the first time the person is coming to talk about this pastor. And I'm like, wow, things are happening, And another story someone posted, there was this girl. There was a teenage girl. I like this one. I don't remember how I got this one. Her pastor, I don't know if it was on social media. Her mother sent her to a pastor to do deliverance. Pastor was sending her messages. Then she was just laughing at, see the person they sent me to go and do. Who did the deliverance, me or you? Eventually, I think she now set the pastor up. Of course, she told her mother. Her mother was like, get out of here. What are you saying? Man of God, man that is spiritual, highly spiritual. I'm telling you, she set the man up. She set the man up until the man actually came, until the man put himself in a situation where, in fact, the mother caught the messages. She was texting, the man was texting her, she was responding, until the mother actually saw the messages, and she was like, what's all this one? That was when she believed. If the mother hadn't seen those messages and the things that the man was saying, he wouldn't have believed. At the end of the day, you know what they say? It's the devil's handwork. This devil, some of you are the devil. Some of them are the devil. I'm telling you.
Devil has seen something.
I'm telling you. Then you see those, those ones they catch on social media. They're like, it was the devil's handwork. Please, the devil was doing his own devilish work. You are just an aspiring devil yourself. So that's why God will just punish those people. Okay, this comment is from Kemen. He said people will see what they want to see about their close relatives. So the self-denial sets in when an outsider tells you about a different version of that person you never knew existed. I'm telling you, I agree. Because a lot of times when people tell you that, okay, this is what this person is doing, or they bring it and they tell you that, oh, okay, maybe this is what this, people don't believe. But my question is that why is it that mothers don't believe? Why?
It's not that mothers don't believe. Mothers know, and it's hard to accept the truth.
Oh.
That is your child, that as a mother, that is, there's a certain level of protection. And some people, they overprotect. Other people don't. Like me. If you want to go and commit crime, just tell them that, my mother is not going to support me, so don't even call her at all. Because if you come back to the house or we end up killing you, I don't want to kill somebody. I don't want to go to jail. So
don't bother.
Yes, I don't know, God forbid, maybe if I'm in the situation, I'll do something differently. But mother, you just don't want to accept it because you don't want to be the mother. As a mom, you don't want to be the mother. A lot of moms, I don't want to be the mother that accepted it, and at the end of the day, it's the mother's head it will come back to.
Yeah, then that it will bring shame to the family.
Exactly, and it will be
mothers out there. Some people are shameless. Forget about this shame and just live your life.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm telling you, that please,
what will people say?
don't
Let
mind
them
them.
say, because even if you don't, if you do, they will say. If you don't do, they will say. So let them talk. The world is judgmental. That's it.
I'm telling you.
So it doesn't matter. Stop accepting things just because you're trying to save things.
It's the norm. There's nothing normal about that. Dapo, I was going to ask you. Stephanie said something about my wife. I want my wife gang. You know those people that will see small girl. My wife. There was one skit someone released. I don't know who recently, and we saw the girl and said my wife, and the girl went, "I'm not your wife. My name is this. I told the uncle straight. See, teach your children. I'm not saying teach them how to be rude, but let them know. Nobody has the right to just see you as a small girl and be saying my wife. So yeah, we're so crazy. Kilo far you my wife. Kilo far my wife. You should not be doing. It's not normal. So my question to you, Dapo, is why do you think, guys, from a guy's point of view, why would you think a guy will see someone and be saying my wife? What kind of nonsense talk is that? Are we together?
Again, we're together. So some of these things, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, some of these things, again, let me say this Yoruba proverb, that popular people say, some of these things, did you get that?
Yeah.
Because some of these things, to all intents and purposes, there is no underlying to any of it. The African culture that says, it takes a community to raise a child. It takes a whole village to raise the child. So everybody feels, right from the moment you give birth, everybody feels invested. So all these things, what's going on there? My wife, me, even as you mind my daughter, you mind my, all this.
So are we still together? Oh, network is so crappy.
Innocent things, but now.
Therefore, we can barely get what you're saying. Are you still with us?
Yeah, you're frozen, completely frozen now.
Therefore, are you there? I'm not sure. I think we lost him. I can barely pick what he's trying to say. Network is so crappy. I can barely anyway, let me speak for a bit before that what comes back. I don't know. Something wrong with this. Okay, so about all these my wife people, neighbors another thing I talked about in my last video, neighbors that you keep your children with or your friends, it also matters a lot. You keep your kids with someone and you don't even know the person that well, right? And you just say, okay, maybe this person should go to this person, stay with this person. I don't know, to you, the child is probably being molested and you don't even know. Now, sometimes, it's hard. You cannot be with your kids 24/7. There are times that you need to do other things and put them somewhere or something. But before you drop kids, I think people should try and understand, know the people in question, know the person you're dropping your child with. Don't just assume everyone is normal. Nope. Again, this generation, we're not normal. I like to just assume that this generation, nobody is normal. This generation, no, we're not normal. No, it's going to take the grace of God. No, we're not normal. It's just going to be. So try and know. I want people to try and know the people they're dropping with, friends, neighbors, whoever the person is. Try and know the person. Don't just drop your kids off and feel that, hey, I'm just dropping this person off, and that's going to be fine. You never can tell. There are cases where neighbors are already, even friends.
Even friends. You said even family members. You just you just have to be very. I think people don't pay attention. That's the problem. I guess people don't pay because you have to pay attention.
Nigerians also have this thing where family friend, your family friend is your family friend. Stop saying my cousin. Everybody is a cousin in Nigeria. No, because of the cousin, you can actually mislead someone. So sometimes, because people don't want to say that, oh, this person is my dad's old colleague, they just say the old colleague's son. They don't want to tell you that long story. They just go, oh, he's my cousin. It's not your cousin, it's your father's friend, your family friends. There's a difference. So people, Dakwa, are you back? Can you hear us? I think he muted his mic. He muted his mic. He has to remove the mute. Okay, so a lot of times people don't want to go through that stress of he's my family friend. They just want to tell you that he's my cousin so that there can be some kind of connection. So at the end of the day, you hear of a case. I thought you said he's your cousin. Then it's difficult for you to now recover from the story you have already told someone that he's my cousin. Meanwhile, in reality, he's not even your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dakwa, do we have you back? Dakwa, are we still together?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm back.
Okay, yeah, you were telling us about
yes,
something.
Yes, we are. I hear you.
Okay, so you were telling us about something before we lost you.
Yeah, so it's all that culture. Yeah, so all of that culture is changing, and that's why we need that reorientation right now. Just like you're saying, I totally agree with what you're saying. You know, okay. I have two nephews. One is 2, the other is almost 4, and you know, right from even at that age, even in school now. So when they see me, used to be so, hello Uncle Dapo, hello Uncle Dapo, and I know so they greet me like that. When they see my brother Udayo, right? But then nobody else. They know that nobody else is an uncle to them. So nobody else is Uncle this.
Set the standard, yeah.
You know, so Uncle Dapo. So if you go to their mom and say Uncle did something, if they go to their mom, for instance, and say Uncle did something, mommy knows the people that are uncle to them is Dayo and Dapo. So she knows where to look. Situation where everybody, even when you go and say Uncle did this, which uncle?
Which uncle?
You know, so the thing is, all these things, and I like the like I said, it's changing. Even
the way African life.
Yeah, because even the way they taught us is different from the way they teach them now. Now they use sounds. So the education system is really changing. We need a lot of stuff. So I mean, apart from growing up, we had social studies. There has to be like civic education. I mean, a lot has to change. Remy is right. I mean, you can't take away the fact that the foundation of the home, the parents, right? But even the schooling system has to change. Maybe civic duty, civic whatever. All these things have been ingrained from that age. Yeah. So you know what is permissible. You know when somebody's crossing the line immediately. And a lot of the timidity you saw with our own generation, the kids of these days don't have it. They don't have it. So you're talking to a 5-year-old girl and she'll tell you, no, you can't do that. I'm like, are you talking to me? I'm like, yes, I'm talking to you. You know, because now they're bolder. They know what to say. They know the difference between being rude and being, you know, so a lot of things that were ingrained in us as, no, don't talk to somebody that is your uncle or brother. Can you come? These kids, they don't see it that way these days. You know, say so no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. I'll tell my mommy. I'll tell my daddy. And then they go straight.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, all of these things is changing. We're not there yet, but I like all the changes, all the things that I'm saying. You know, back in the day, like you said, my wife. Like, but now you see the she'll react. I'm like, no, I'm not your wife. You know, things that you wouldn't see in our own generation because of, I mean, the whole exposure again has to do with the exposure. You know, so all these things gradually, little by little, there. You know, so it's a whole lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. Some of them is even unconscious. For some people that just do these things, it's just, you know.
Yeah, Remy, I thought you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut.
Yeah, Remy, go ahead.
I was going to add something, but I wanted to make sure he got his point across.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
No, Remy, please go ahead. He already said he
Oh, okay.
should.
Yeah. So there's an, I want like, I don't want to say this sounding ungrateful, but, and I'm sure it was the same way in your house, Bimbo, and most likely the same way in your house, Taco, and some of the audiences I'm seeing here, like I know definitely it was the same way in Stephanie's house. We need to stop depending on, yes, I understand there is the need for jobs. There's the need for all of it. We need to stop depending on house helps. They're not your children's parents. They're not your children. They're not going to love your children the way you do. I don't care what another person says. They did not legally adopt your child. So there's no way they would love your children the way you do. No way. You can't tell me that. I just feel like that, Yeah. Stop depending so much and stop trusting so much, because some people even say, yeah, if I'm paying my house help, more than what other house helps are getting, then she will behave. No, the mind of a psychopath is the mind of a psychopath. If you like, pay money. If you like, take it to go and do cosmetic surgery. What is inside that brain and mind is inside that brain and mind, and you don't know. Stop depending so much on just leaving your children, or your the people that you love that are younger in the care of all these people. Yes, the system is different here than it is in Nigeria.
Very,
very, very different. I understand that, but at the end of the day, we can make things. We can adjust. We can still adjust, and we have come to a point in Nigeria where we're so. I realize becoming a mom here, and having children, being a wife here, helped me to understand the amount of laziness that has been, normalized in Nigerian culture with parents. Parents are not having discussions with their kids. They're not spending any time with their kids. They're not, it's ridiculous. Stop it. You're exposing your children to knowledge that they should not have from other people. They should have those knowledges from you. And then you come and act surprised, like how someone said, you come and act surprised when someone says, oh, your child did this. Well, you don't know your child. Obviously, you don't know your child because you didn't spend time with your child.
Oh, so there's no way Remy, please let me cut you a bit. Sorry. There was one time I used to teach some teenage kids how to make bridal accessories and a couple of other things. So there was this one time these kids there was this particular girl who, she was 14. I can't forget. She was 14, and she had all her, that teenage thing where you have your top tied, she was all pushed to the front, and she was just, sashaying about, and I'm like, oh, wow. What would I give to be this age? And I was trying to talk to her one day, and she said, she's going home and all that. Then her younger sister shouted, oh, I hope we're not stopping over at that boy's place again. I'm like, I don't understand. Come. She said, yeah, the driver's coming to. I'm true life story, old. I'm telling you. She said, yeah, the driver's coming to pick us up, and yeah, I just need to stop over to get a book. I said, come. Hello, come. You want to pick book? Hey, you're talking to me. You're not picking any book. You want to stop over in a boy's house. Which book? First of all, you're in summer holidays. There is no book your parents cannot afford. So what book are you stopping to pick up? And the girl was like, no, I'm speaking more now. No, I'm just trying to tell you that it's nothing. It's just my friend. I said, you're coming around. You're not there yet. What are you going to do? Then the younger sister was like, ask her. I don't know what she's going to do. I'm just, the girl, sharp mouth now. I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do? It's like, you know what? I'm going to gist you about it later or something. But I got to go. Okay. She left. I kind of forgot about, that scenario. I was going to ask her. Then about a few days later, I noticed she came in and she's very cheerful and all that. She was so sad, sat somewhere. And I was busy, but I really wanted to talk to her. Eventually, when I had the time, I was going to talk to her. Then one of the teachers said, she's sad because her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. I said, what, at 14? What are you telling me? Ex. She's like, calm down, you have not heard this. Her ex-boyfriend shared her nude picture on Facebook. Now, I couldn't tell her I heard, So I'm like, okay, so what's wrong with you? She's like, she's just pissed off. I'm like, is it a boy something? Because, I mean, you stopped over in the boy's house yesterday or a couple of days ago. She said, no, it wasn't about that, she's just sad because her mom is unhappy with her. And I'm like, what did you do? She said it's a long story, that her mom seized her phone and all that. Anyway, the bottom line is this. The parents work. They are like working parents. They don't have time. So their kids they find ways. They are very rich. They find ways to just get the kids to do stuff. So the stuff are like, she can't even cook at 14. I mean, in an African home, everyone knows at that age, you must be able to do some things. She couldn't even do certain things. So at that age, she was already talking about boys. The parents' driver were already stopping over at a supposed friend's house to pick up stuff. Finally, she had a phone that the parents seized. Her nude pictures were on the phone. So she sent the nude pictures to the boyfriend. That was another thing. Then it didn't just, because she broke up with the boy, stupid boy was angry, posted it on social media. Her parents were angry. You know the punishments? Her punishment was that they were not going to take her to London for the summer, and instead of going to London, she was going to go to Ghana. Yeah, so she was upset about.
Can I sign up for this punishment?
Wait now. So she wasn't going to go. That she's just so upset about the whole thing. Now, she was not upset about the nude picture that was on social media. She was upset about the mobile phone. She was upset because she wasn't going to England. I could not. Some of these things I just could not comprehend it. You want to sign up? You want to? Do you know when I got home and I told my mother at this my age? I mean, it was just a couple of years ago. Like maybe it was just a couple of years ago, really. No, like I think it was in 2012. So that's my age, and I told my mom that I just finished serving or something, and my mom was like, Omo, come on. Do you understand? It was just that. And my mom was just shaking her head that, are you serious? Her parents don't have the time. So I totally agree with you, Remy, when you said parents should try and make out time for their kids. Try and find out, what do your kids do? What do they like? Where are they? What are they up to? Do they like music? Do they like instrument? Are they who are their friends? What are they doing? You have to be in tune with your kids' lives. If not, you're going to be lost, and you're going to lose a child before anything. Forget. Kids have sex even in school.
And the priorities are so misplaced, because a lot of parents are more about, and maybe I'm just saying that because I'm more comfortable here. A lot of parents are more about, what can I provide for my child? What can I provide for my child? But you're providing, giving them things. These are things, stuff.
Material things.
They're probably not going to remember they had these things, 2 years from now. So that's another thing that's really bothers me. And, the priorities is nowhere near, where a husband will say, if my wife it's now competition between husbands. All these things build into this whole rape culture. My wife is making more money. I have to work harder so I can make, more, this or more. Instead of, you know what, my wife is making enough money, I can stay home with the kids. That mentality is not there. It's absent. Or the wife will say, no, I don't want to be the wife that everybody will say, my husband is making money, I'm eating his money, blah, blah. Is your husband eating money? Thank you. And if you were working, is your husband, let him eat your money. Stop it with what people are saying. It's very annoying. So if one parent, if you're making enough and have children within your means, if you're making enough to survive, at some point you will grow, you will make more. But while your kids need you, try to either, if it's part-time jobs or like a business, whoever's making more, keep your job. Whoever's making less, consider, I'm not saying do it, because yes, there are expenses, but consider the possibilities of building your own clientele, maybe in the same industry, and doing this for on a part-time basis, so you have more time with your kids. If that's impossible, one thing I know that we do in this house, my husband is not always around because of the nature of his job. He's not always around. One thing we do in this house, and this happens, the only times we don't do it, maybe once in like, or twice in like a whole month, we don't do it. Whenever the whole family is in this house, dinner is our time to discuss what happened in the day, what you're eating. And that idea, that Nigerian idea, table manners, that table manners, it will choke you. Leave table manners where it is. Talk to your children. If that's the only time you have with your children, talk to your children. Use that time, whatever little time you have. Because so those things. What's table manners? Yeah, table manners. We lost that way. Table manners, Pukagi. What? Stop. Talk to your children. Have a conversation with them. I'm just saying. Like, and that's one thing I'll say. Okay, my parents didn't do, because they were all about my mom. My mom was brought up in a British lifestyle setting, and my dad, of course, because of the nature of his job, was very strict. Dinner was not everybody have dinner at the same. The children had dinner at their own time. The adults had dinner at their own individual time whenever they wanted to. But I've noticed, and my husband grew up in the same thing, in his household. And that everybody is accountable. You see the different level of accountability. And I don't know where the information can be found exactly, but you can Google it, find out. Statistics show that children that sit down and have dinner with their family and have conversations with their family are more likely to succeed and are more likely to speak up if they were being abused. So those little things, like, come on. If you see, Sandra, as long as you're not, you don't teach her. If there's no food in your mouth, please talk. But it's important. If there's food in your mouth, talk, spit, throw the food out. I don't care.
Okay, let me read some comments from Sandra. Said, "Chai, okay, that's a punishment." Oh yeah, that was a punishment. So this what do they watch on TV? That's very important. Yeah, watching on TV. That was why I talked about pornographic videos and all that. That's why I talked about it, that sometimes what we watch plays a major role as well, because I'm concerned about the people that are being raped and some of the issues that could possibly cause it. And people that watch pornographic videos see the captions. Now, those captions are my own problem, because when they see stepdaughter does this, stepmother sleeps with son, daughter's boyfriend, all those things are very disgusting. They're very disgusting, and sometimes people feel that it's a caption, like it's real. Now, in one of my videos, I talked about it where I said it's not real. They're things that they're like fictions, exactly. Some movies, for instance, they're real, while some are just, fictions, make believe and all that. So not a lot of cases, it's not real. Now, someone argued with me that it is real. Look, I'm not saying that porn is not real, but when my problem is the caption. If I post this video now and I put the caption, how I was raped, do you know the number of people that want to know how, and people want to check out because of what a caption can do? So that's really my point. So I would agree with you. Yeah, what do they watch on TV and all that? Censor, PG, everything. Kids are smart these days. You have to know what to do. The other day I was helping my friend's kid with a tablet. And the girl would just go on Google. I'm like, what's going on? Something happened, and I had to fix the parental guide thing and all that. So we're back to, I want to see how you break this one. This girl, you're smart, but no. So you have to get ahead of your kids. That's because you have to be in tune with them. You have to know what they're doing every time. If not, this kids, they are smart.
Don't answer Josh. Just ignore Josh. Keep going. Don't even read.
Okay, I haven't even gotten to that comment. So Dolakwa says parents have a big role to play in the girl child dressing. Also, unconsciously, you have admitted dressing plays a role. Most times it triggers thoughts in the guys. Dolakwa, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you about this dressing thing. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that.
I don't agree with you, because are you telling me that I get the fact that yes, when you wear certain things, it could be revealing and all that, and it triggers stuff. Look, girls have this okay, I'm going to wear this. Let's let their head turn and all that. It should not be a yardstick for rape. Let's not miss the topic. Let's not miss the topic at all. You can wear anything. Most children wear pants.
In Nigeria, exactly. They wear their diapers and run around.
The weather is hot. The weather is hot. Yeah. So a child is probably, right now, a child is probably wearing summer. Let's use that as an instance. We're in summer. In Nigeria, it feels like summer all year round because it is hot. You want to wear something, you don't want the child is probably going to get rashes. You're afraid of mosquitoes. You're afraid of something. Now, I'm talking African right now. There are a lot of things at stake here. You wear something for a child and you tell me that it's because of what that child is wearing. Fam, you're a pedophile. No, not you. A guy who does that thing. A guy who would look at a child and have the thoughts, that man is a pedophile. Forget. Now, if you're talking about the dressing, an adult dressing, and you're telling me that because of what the girl is wearing, that is probably what will cause or what is causing a guy to have thoughts in his head or in his mind. The guy is crazy. Yeah, you heard me. He's crazy.
Well, and let me say this. And it's okay if I dress, if I wear, revealing clothes. Obviously, I'm wearing it because number one, either I'm confident enough and I don't care what people think, or
exactly,
or I like the attention of people saying, "Hey, she looks nice," and being the hottest girl in the room, whatever, And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for me to be dressed like that out in the club. I'm not saying that I'll do it. I've done it in the past, but I'm not saying I'll do it right now. It's okay for me to do that, and it's okay for a guy to see me and say, "Damn, she's hot."
Exactly.
But what is not okay is actually acting on those intentions forcefully. That is not so. Yes, of course, dressing can trigger, like there's some people that like I know some men, they like women that wear loose clothes. You know why they like it? Because it keeps their imagination. Like some guy likes his wife to wear very loose clothes because it keeps his imagination, whatever. It's interesting for him, like just the imagination, of what's underneath all of that. And there's some guys that prefer you to wear stuff that sits on your body so they can actually see it, and and that's all okay. It's okay. We need to understand that everything is okay. What is not now, where we cross the line is where, because she has now followed you to your house, she's drunk.
Do you understand? Those ones, they're annoying me. Those ones are not normal.
Even if you're wearing hijab, do you know how many people in the Muslim community, shout out to our Muslim brothers and sisters, we've been talking about Christianity. Do you know how many women, with all of the covering they do you know how many women in the Muslim community get raped and sexually assaulted?
Plus the hijab, how they cover from head to toe
with hijab. I'm not even color black. Nothing to say. So the mind of a rapist is going to be the mind of a rapist. There's nothing you can do about it. Maybe as a parent, you can kind of make sure you expose your children, boy and girl, to certain things so they know, okay, this is not right. But at the end of the day, what a person decides to do is what a person decides to do. It doesn't matter the outside factor. You can only control what you do. You can't control how other people react to it. And that whole dressing thing, if not, that means
that means we should not.
Then that's reason now. It should trigger all the time. Then that's that we should worry about that as well. I mean, it is something to consider, but like, come on. And I see Joshua said, we did bring up the boy child, and it is very important because for boys, like, okay, even going back to the dressing thing, for boys, what is the diversity in their clothes? They still get raped, they still get assaulted. So that whole thing, yes, we can say yes, it's provocative, whatever. Yes, that's fine, but that's okay. It doesn't give you the right, that's. It goes back to the thing I was saying about because I have, because I'm driving a Benz or a Beamer, the latest Beamer, it doesn't give armed robbers the right to come and you're living a flashy life, you're living a flashy life. It's my life. I'm not stealing the money, I'm working for it.
Let
to be flashy. Leave it alone. You know, so it doesn't give authority to to whatever. So it's okay for people to look at someone and say, hey, you know, like I've seen. I look at a guy with a shirt off and I'll be like, damn, you know, his body's hot, whatever. But I'm not going to go and push him on the bed and say, no, today you must do this thing. Why? It's not, you know, it's not. It's not right. Let's not open that table. Let's not open that window at all for opportunity. For, you know, that
let me read the next one. Okay, Sandra says the problem here is that most parents listen to what people say. If you can stay home and build your home and pick up a handwork on the way. So bottom line, don't be jobless. If you're jobless, it's going to be a problem. You're not going to be able to take care of your kids or monitor what's happening. So Ladan, thanks for joining us. Remy will be shaking tables. Oh, these tables aren't stable. Shoots is Dolapo. Okay, nice. Thanks for joining, Ladan. Sandra says the table is broken. Now, Joshua says, Beams, how do you know the titles? Just joined a while ago.
Why are you doing like this?
Allow me to add that the bother child needs to be given as much attention. Oh, the titles. Okay, Josh, let me address that. I said I was doing research. If you notice from my previous video, I already started this conversation. So, Remy, could you just move away? Right now, I was doing research. I was doing research on this topic. That was why I went to pornographic websites. If you are concerned about me, thank you. I love you too. However, I was doing research, and based on my research, it got me thinking. You get inspirations from different places. Now, I'm not going to say I got my inspiration from pornography. If I didn't go to the pornographic websites, I probably wouldn't have noticed. But I had to go to see some of these things so that I'll be able to give you facts. So if you haven't been there, I'm not saying you should go. Josh, be a Christian brother. So he also said, our pastor in the house. Allow me add that the boy child needs to be given as much attention as the girl child. Yes, I agree with you. A lot of time we focus on I think we have like 15 minutes to go or so. Okay, so I'm going to say this real quick. A lot of times we talk about the girl, you know, how the girl needs to behave, how the girl needs to do this, the girl has to be careful, we don't want her to be raped. The same attention, the same energy should be given to, you know, raising a boy as well, because you want to raise a good boy. You want to raise, you don't want to raise a rapist. You don't want to raise a man that will not respect a woman. Raise a boy the same way you would want a man to treat you, so that your son will turn out great. Now, some of these things that we have said may seem like, oh, we're talking about this, it's not so easy. We know. We can only say some of the things that can help you. We may not necessarily be able to cover all the grounds, but we can only try, really. No guy becomes a gentleman overnight. It's a skill that is learnt. It becomes very easy to be a gentleman if taught from childhood. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
I agree. Sandra says, if you're hungry and you see food in the gutter, will you eat it? Whatever gave you strong will to eat that food should also make you look away from a girl dressed in revealing clothes. Sandra, one bottle of beer for you.
You don't see Hennessy and what else? What do you want?
I owe you a bottle of champagne, Sandra. A bottle of champagne. I'm telling you, you're very right. The same way, look away. Okay, someone says, what of kids in diapers being raped? Were they dressed indecently? I'm telling you. I watched a video recently. Yep. There was a story recently about a man who raped, I don't know, the baby was 10 months or something. The picture was disgusting. I just could do. And you know, at the end of the day, which devil? It's disgusting about, you know, the way people just, I don't know. You see, people are just, God just.
People don't like to take responsibility is the problem. Like, you know, accountability, responsibility. Like, take responsibility, take accountability in your thoughts, in how you react to things, and you know, just. But like I was reading online, you know, when you said we were going to talk about this, reading online, and it says that, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of rapists are small-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
They are lower class in the mentality. They're at the bottom of the list in the mentality. So in order to gain dominance, especially those that do it over and over again, especially those that, child molesters, they want to feel some kind of dominance. They're small-minded. They're stupid. They're not mentally okay. They're not mentally matured. They're very, very, tiny. They're this tiny inside. They want to feel like they have power over something. They have power over somebody, So at the end of the day, there are people that just turn out like that anyways, no matter what you do. It also goes back to training your kids to making sure that, they don't feel like they have to hide, some kind of dirty thing or do something dirty to gain power or, dominance over people, the need for gaining dominance over people. Like that's all just things that we need to wash out as a society, as an African society. Like, this, because Africa is a patriarch society where, it's always the man should be in charge. Even until now, the man should be in charge. The man should be the one providing. The man, fear the man, the father of the house. Yes, those things are good. There's a head in the house. We should recognize it. It's, rightfully the man, going from religion, tradition, all of that. It's always the man. By the end of the day, don't make people feel so little from childhood that they then start to do things that, that are a reaction to what you've done. Like some guys now, they say, you don't even get girlfriend. This is that, like, he doesn't have a girlfriend. Okay, that's fine.
So what?
So you as a parent, it's your job now as a parent to say, hey, my son, it's okay. At some point, you'll find a girl. Don't worry about what they say. Boost your child's confidence, Just don't join them and say, you don't have a girlfriend. What's going on?
What's going on?
Have you even seen woman before? Those kind of stupid little things. And that also plays in, yes, I've heard, and to some degree I believe it, that some people are just naturally homosexual, but then there's some people that are pushed to it because of the verbal, the verbal abuse, the mental abuse that they've gone through, and sometimes physical abuse. They're pushed to that lifestyle as well. It's all a part of the whole rape culture. There's so much. We should stop. I don't know how to word this. Maybe someone in the comment section or Bimbo can help out. We should stop making sex such a thing. It's a thing. It happens.
I think we're going to have another session where we talk about sex. Where I mean, since everyone's libido is so high on social media. Like, do you know that my last video I posted a teaser talking about that pornographic part just to prove a point based on what I was talking about. Then this idiot comes in my comment section to tell me that, what did he say? Cowgirl style or something. I couldn't comprehend that. What's this one saying? Apparently it was a sex style. And I'm like, Mogbe, what's this one? What are they saying? What's this one saying? No, but the thing is, I didn't give him that response of you're stupid or something. I just commented below and just told him, I think you need to watch the full video to understand what this is actually about. That shows us how everyone just feels, there's a quick response to every time there's a mention of sex. So, at every point in time like that, well, hey, what can we do?
Right.
So yeah, we have a couple of minutes, so we gotta round up. And I don't know, for some reason we lost that one. It's so sad. It was just going to, but really, thank you so much for joining. And guys, for those that came around to support you guys, thank you so much. I hope you had fun. If you have something you want us to talk about next time, don't worry, I dragged Remy. Remy is going to be coming on my show like every other. In fact, Remy and I were on this show matter together, so don't worry. I'm going to be seeing her. I know you guys already love her. Don't worry, I love her. She's not going anywhere. You're going to come back, whether you like it or not. Anyway, you guys, thanks for staying tuned. This Beams Gist again. Please, I'm begging you, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please. We'll provide gist. Today, we're just angry. We just needed to address this rape matter in different angles, and I hope you guys learned a lot from it. Please do not throw away the lessons from this video. It is to help you. It is to, it is to help you. It's help somebody else. Share this video. Talk to somebody. feel safe. We want everyone to have a good life. And Remy, please, do you have any words for us before we go?
I think I got it all out. You know, just be mindful of, you know, what you give out there, and like Bimbo said, don't look at this one. Can't take outside. And like Bimbo said, don't let this be just a.
There was a comment. Sorry, I'm sorry. There was a comment.
Something you should. Don't listen to.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
this is not a one-time thing. This is a conversation you start having, you know, especially those of us that have kids, start having those conversations with your kids, and, you know, look for a verbiage out there that you can use so they can understand at their level. And, you know, just be supportive out there to one another. Kindness goes a long way. So.
Yeah. Kind to one another. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. Stephanie, thank you for joining us. I'm going to subscribe to your YouTube channel pretty soon, and we're going to talk more. Stephanie, yeah, I see you. Thank you, Joshua. Someday we'll talk about the ideal punishments for rapists. That one is, they should just kill them. There's nothing to talk about. Just kill them. They should die by
That's easy way out. Castration, no need.
Castrate them. Dissect the balls. Kill them.
No, they cut it, dry it, and use it to make necklace for them.
That's it. Signed. Thank you guys again. Thank you for staying tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys next week, next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.